to make them successful. Now it is the practicality and it is doable now. To get more value from the data and the information. This is the business view. How I can generate more revenue? What are the more new revenue streams for me? How you can, I'm working with the telecom providers, healthcare providers to develop new products, new product offerings, and they are so much excited. I'm saying that we provide you the business, a gateway to the business in Middle East. We will help you from the technology vendors from the region, and we will take you, and I tell to the other guys that we will develop a new portfolio of products and offerings so that you will have a new revenue. You already invested on the infrastructure, you already invested on all the stuff which is required. Just we need to customize, tailor, and provide a solution so that it can be, it can serve to the customers. Currently, I am reviewing a book on the service-oriented architecture. Service-oriented architecture principles, they are still the key element in the big data initiatives and into the cloud. Those things, you don't need really to, but however, adopting those new protocols such as REST protocol or some other protocols are there, where you write your solution, where you write the code, you capture the data, and that data will become a universal and open data. Open data, now my perspective has changed. When I'm saying open data is not the data for the public data, I'm talking about an enterprise data where every department within your organization can use. A process view. So, if then else conditions, questions, scenario based, and converting the real time and the futuristic process views. So asking the right question it is more important than giving a right answer. So now I need to run. So I got a 15 minutes late. So big data applications, these are the 4 layers I have defined. That the bottom layer, when we talk about the big data, are you talking about the big data infrastructure? Or are you talking about the big data management, which is the query engine, which is where we can orchestrate and design a solution, service-oriented architecture? Or you're talking about the big data analytics, which is machine learning, where the machines and the robots and those subroutines and the algorithms are taking the data and trying to give you a recommendation. You might have seen in Google, you might have seen in Amazon. You just go to few products, it will recommend you, it will give you the list. Why don't you go with these kind of products? And I used to be surprised, how come they know? These are the things we are talking about. And those applications which we are taking the data from this kind of platform, those are the big data applications. So whenever you ask about what kind of layer you want to focus, this is important for you. So digital disruptive drivers, I think I will not cover. And I just want you to see these slides. Sources of global digital disruption. Because we have tools, we have platforms, we have consumers. And by the way, every organization, every institute, whatever you call, it has a digital customer. You have an assignment which need to be submitted. Yes, you are using a digital media and you are a digital customer. We call SMAC, which is social, mobile, analytics and the cloud. So when we talk about the big data, data disruption, which we are calling as an offline data, online data, on-move data or on-rest data, where you slice and dice, you relate and map, and you deliver the stuff and deliver the project. So there is a transactional data which is called record-based data, CRUD. Create, read, update and delete. This is the traditional way of computing the transactional data. This is what we used to do it for the past 2 decades. But now the algorithm, the way it's being different, where we are calling CRAB, which is create, replicate, append, and process. You don't need to have, in order to have the disaster recovery, I back up and restore. No, that's not there. The replication technique and online replication, offline replication, those are the things where it is impacting to the business and providing high availability. This is not non-relevant, but I just want to talk on one thing. Whenever we talk about the cloud, we talk about this, the cycle. Assessment, you assess, you standardize, you consolidate, you virtualize. What I used to see, virtualization is the point where they go. Like I have 200 servers, now I have 50 servers. We have done virtualization. No, you have not done virtualization in a proper way. So if you have a lot of SQL servers, different applications requires different SQL server, different Oracle server, different versions of those database servers. First you need to consolidate, you need to standardize before you actually virtualize. That's the place where so this is a maturity model. Once you virtualize and you automate and then you align and integrate, then you say, sir, I think we need to think on the cloud. Whether you talk about the private cloud, hybrid cloud or public cloud. So this slide, I think it's important, that's why I just brought it over here. And by the way, there is no separate domain called big data only. All these are SMAP because everybody is contributing. Without this mobile access, neither the cloud would have been successful, nor anything would have been successful. Without the social media, nothing would have been successful. Because innovation is the mother of need. So because everybody is having an access to the social media and everybody have an access to the online, everybody have their access to the digital life, all of this, it is creating the need, and the cloud and big data, it came into the picture. So cloud is providing a computational power which is required to analyze the data. So when I said data, let me talk about the size of the data. I have more than 20 years of experience and the technology makes me to stay young. Thanks for that. So we used to listen kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, but I have never heard since 2-3 years we are listening petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, yottabyte. And who knows after this yottabyte what is the another one? Somebody knows? There is a brontobyte and geobyte also. We haven't heard about that maybe. So whenever we are talking about the data, this data, we are trying to anticipate what we need to anticipate from this data and how I can accelerate the data information either using the Hadoop framework or whatever the protocol, whatever and we see how we can differentiate, how we can deliver the value. So the data is meant for whom, to whom we are serving, and how we are serving, what we are serving, when we will serve, why we are doing all of this activity, and what need to be expected with all of this particular thing. So there is an information governance, and governance is not just a one-time shot. It is an iterative, it is a repetitive cycle where you need to keep improving yourself. So there is not such thing called alignment, improvement and transformation. This is what we used to develop strategies as head of the IT. But there is a governance where what was right yesterday and what is right today may not be right tomorrow. Because we are living in a strategic changing world. Change is strategic in nature. Business perspective, IT. So you might have listened a lot on the 3 V's or 4 V's, where you have a volume, velocity, variety, and variability. Variability is the thing to whom you are giving this data, for whom it is being, to whom you are serving, who are your audience. This is what it matters. So volume, velocity, variety. So volume, you are taking lot of data. Yes, in my organization, previous, we used to have thousands and thousands of customers, and we used to run one report where we used to have an output generated after 3 days. So the computational environment was not capable enough to provide me a report which will be a realistic, because we used to take the data 3 days old data. So by the time the report is generated, I don't have a realistic or real-time view of the data which is belongs to my business. So taking all the data from heterogeneous sources, I will try to elaborate in the next slide. I will not go with this. Okay, big data analytics. This is very important also. I showed you 4 layers, and this is also another important thing. Here we are talking about descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics. So in the descriptive analytics, we are talking about visualization and data, visualization and data modeling, where you are developing different data marts, data views. You are bringing a universe of data from your Excel sheet, from your Microsoft Dynamics applications, your SAP, Oracle, and so on. And then you are predictive modeling, where you are applying the predictive algorithms which you can make by yourself, or the algorithms which are already there for executing a specific task. And then the prescriptive analytics, which is very much important, where you are optimizing and simulating what if scenarios, utilizing your real-time data. And when we talk about data, we are talking about data architecture, process architecture, business architecture, application architecture, technological architecture, and this is the value chain. So please tell me, my friend, what big data you are talking about, which domain you want to explore and you want to become a subject matter expert. Again, as a piece of advice, service-oriented architecture principle, it is the basic foundation for you to explore whatever you want to be in your life. So again, when we talk about data science and transformative roles, the roles are changing with regards to the data. There are data scientists, there are business analysts, there are marketing guys, there are frontline workers. These are the engineers, those are the customer partners, executives and operational systems. You see, these are the product engineers because they are the people who will implement. The platform engineer, they are the one who will implement. So you need to go through all of this. And most likely I will make this available so that you can connect and you can have an access to the information. I try to give you a simple perspective, which is very old. This one. This is not me who has done this one. Customer data you are extracting into a central staging area from different data sources and trying to transform, pulling the database marketing information and location data. Location data, Facebook data, YouTube data, Twitter data, it was never been considered a valuable data. But now today, when you reach to the airport, when you change the location, all the marketing guys, they know exactly what is your location and they are trying to offer those services which is required for you as a mobile person, as a guy who moves around. And that becomes a critical and a strategical element for the business. So there is traditional and transformative, which I have taken from the Forrester. Yes, I will just go with a couple of slides because these are my favorite slides. Data governance, 4 C's. And all these diagrams, you don't find it on the net. Even if you find it, it's mine. Data you are collecting and storing, which is nothing but called 4 C's. You see there, capturing the data, correlating the data, coordinating the data, and corporatizing. Corporatizing means where your data is available in a format, in a way where the decision can be made, not the raw data. I have seen so many businesses and the professionals, whenever a report being requested, they try to pull the data from the raw tables. So you need to be careful on that particular element. And also you need to be careful when you are designing an application or designing a solution. What are the patterns, what are the business patterns, and what are the technological patterns? Because you should not use those technologies which are going to be dead after a few years. So anti-patterns need to be identified and you need to kill those anti-patterns. Because that is going to stop your business and that is going to stop your initiatives. and you organize and clean and enrich and aggregate. So many big world-class organizations, they have the data, but when you try to make a meaning of that particular data, there is a lot of gaps, there is a lot of things which are not there. There are a lot of attributes which is required for me to make a sense of what is the profitability of the product, what is the profitability of my business, what is the profitability of this particular product in this particular region and this particular region. It is, you cannot achieve. So then you visualize and try to explore and then try to decide how you're going to use. So again, when we talk about the logical enterprise data warehouse, we used to think before that Oracle, SAP, all these ERP systems, file systems, transactional systems we have, and that's the enterprise data warehouse for any organization. Accessing the data from the Facebook or accessing the data from the geographic location and positioning, it was never been considered as useful data. All those blocks and public and open data was never been considered. Now we have a semantic web where you apply the business logic and the data will come as a data which can be used for your cause and initiative. And that's why it is called strategic big data. I have given that name. Hopefully this is my last slide. Big data delivery model. So when we talk about collecting the data, it is like an extension to the last slide. Collecting the data and you are processing the data. When I am saying collecting the data, you are identifying the data, you are understanding, you are trying to relate the data, and you are relating the data to your organizational strategy, to achieve the operational excellence, to achieve the marketing objectives. So you are processing the data and then you are managing the data and measuring the data, and then you are consuming the data. Actually, this particular slide itself I can take like a workshop for 4 hours. So it has a lot of things, and there is storing the data and we are transforming. And corporatizing. Corporatizing means now the data is available for your organization, for your initiative, for your project, for your program, for your portfolio in a way now you can make sense. Now you can say, sir, as a customer, now my data is available. So you can tell me what kind of, dashboards I need to design and define. This I will skip because this is from the Forrester and how the business and IT is being transformed. I just want you to see those slides. It is good. So it's like a trustworthy computational environment. This is my last slide, where you are delivering the IT services in a way not only it will serve to the business, but you are complying to certain laws. From the financial perspective, you need to comply with the GAAP law, GAAP regulatory authorities. You have to comply to the SLA which you have given already, where you have a commitment. And then so many things. Then you are talking about the governance, policies, procedures, controls. You have the risk management, where you are identifying the risks and threats, vulnerabilities, and you are trying to see how I can mitigate, how I can bounce back with those intrusions. Availability we talk, integrity we talk, confidentiality and privacy we talk. And I would like to say a final thank you. Thank you. I don't know whether I have a couple of minutes to take any question or if... Okay, if somebody has a very good question, which is for very complex environment, and where you think that I may not have an answer, please pose me that question. If you have. Otherwise, I think I have delivered it properly. Hopefully you have enjoyed my session, and thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity. And I would like to say a big thanks to Peter and Sandeep. Because of them I am here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable session. Now I request Sri Ranjit Kamala Organizing Secretary of TITA, to present memento to Amir Ahmed sir.
I'm happy to see that there are a lot of audience, So I started with the terms, but I'm so happy that you are still here. Thank you.
Now our next session begins with our next speaker, Mr. V.V. Sanyasi Rao Garu, on the topic how to be a champion and communication skills or soft skills. And I just like to give a brief introduction about V.V. Sanyasi Rao Garu. Mr. Rao now holds many positions in various organizations. As a trainer, he has conducted more than 800 training programs in various areas. He always creates records in whatever assignment he takes up. He won many prizes in debates, elocution, tennis, TT, caroms, hockey, singing and Veena competitions. He has organized programs with Shri R. Venkatraman, President of India, Shri Shankar Dayal Sharma, Vice President of India, Shri I.K. Grilwar, External Affairs Minister, Shri Madi Channa Reddy, Chief Ministers and various governors of states. Now I invite him to come on to the dais and give his valuable speech. Let's give him a round of applause.